All right, so different topic. We're out. It's August. It's starting to be a, you know, I woke up earlier this week. You start seeing a couple of leaves fall on the ground. It's a little bit colder in the mornings. It's still really nice in the afternoon, but it's just a tad bit colder in the morning. And really, it shouldn't be like that. We should have about another month of pretty hot weather, but this is the Seattle area, so it can be pretty finicky sometimes. Once we get to the middle to late September, you can start getting pretty cold days. You know, it can be in the 50s. But typically it's pretty nice up until like the middle of October. And then it gets bad. Yeah, see, I mean, Seattle is it's a great place. Obviously I live here because I was just born here, but as far as like, there's a lot of compared to other cities, there's a lot of economic opportunity here with just the magnitude of like companies that are here, like tech companies, and you know, like Boeing, Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks. There's a lot of big time companies here. And I gotta be a little suspect of that guy. And so it is a good place to live. The climate's pretty nice all year round. It's not too hot in the summer at all. It probably never, I think it's maybe been above 90 degrees like maybe 3 or 4 days this whole summer. So it hasn't been very hot. And the only downside really is just the rain. I think we get like between 150 and 200 days of rain a year, depending on how close to Seattle you live. But there's not a lot of days with like a lot of rain. I mean, there are some days where it's raining pretty good, but it's just the consistent amount of it. So typically it rains like almost every day from, I want to say, like November to like April. So 6 months out of the year, you know, you probably get like at least 5 days a week of rain, and you can go like a whole month without really seeing a day where there's no rain. So that's the hard part about living here. Of course, you know, it's just human. You get used to stuff after a short amount of time. So you know, after probably like a month or maybe even less, it's usually, well, it's 21 days, isn't it? After about 3 weeks, you know, even the nice weather, like now it just feels normal to have pretty nice weather. But if you were to get a day like this in like February or March or April here, it would be insane because you're just not used to it. You know, you pretty much can't do anything outside for close to 6 months of the year. Like I can't really ride a motorcycle. You know, people can go, like, you can still like go hiking, I guess, and do some outdoor things, but it's just, you know, I mean, I take that back. You can do anything you want to pretty much all year round if you really want to, but it's just about how comfortable you're gonna be, right? I mean, I could go ride this motorcycle every day if I wanted to, but it wouldn't be very comfortable, and I wouldn't really enjoy it because it'd be raining a lot, and the temperature would be cold, and I'd have to buy a bunch of rain gear, and I wouldn't enjoy that. So I typically don't ride this bike. I don't these people really wait till you stop, which I guess is good, but I still do ride this bike in the winter when it's a nice day. So I might go, you know, this year I probably went close to 6 weeks without even touching a motorcycle. Probably from November to, actually it was probably longer than that. I don't think I rode a motorcycle from like November to maybe March. I mean, it wasn't even on my mind, because you go outside, it's just absolutely cold as shit, and it's raining, and riding a motorcycle is just, it's just like, it's not even on your radar. You just find other things to do, because you know, the thought of being on two wheels outside while it's that weather is just awful. I really am. I mean, I would like to live in a climate where it's like this all year round. Like right now it's probably 75 degrees and it's just perfect out. It's not hot at all, but it's comfortable enough to where you can, like, I'm just wearing pants and a t-shirt right now, and totally comfortable. So that period of time usually lasts. We can get some nice days in April, but most of the month is typically garbage. It's mostly rainy and like mid 50s. You can get like 4 or 5 nice days in April that are like low 60s, and that feels great because you're so you know, you've had basically 4 to 6 months of being used to nothing but rain and ice and you know, really crappy conditions. So that's a great feeling. That's why I say, like, in April I love it. In April and May I love it, because I'm like, oh, the weather's getting better, the days are getting longer, I can get back on the bike, and it feels great because you're so used to being cold that a little bit of sun really warms you up. And then, you know, the contrary to that is like October, where there are some beautiful days in October here with the leaves falling and the different colors and everything and the crisp air. Those are great. I really do like those days, but they don't last long enough. You know, probably 2.5 to 3 weeks later, it's raining, all the leaves have fallen on the ground, it's like a big slushy mess, and you know, you got the next 6 months to look forward to darkness, cold, and depression. As far as the weather goes, it doesn't get there's not many good days in November onward, you know. And then I totally understand why a large percentage of older people would want to either have a second house or just completely move down to a warmer climate. It's a lot easier on your body and your state of mind. And you know, if you're active, being able to go outside and not having to worry about the weather conditions is a big plus. So that makes a lot of sense. Now the summer, I really don't think there's like a better place. You know, this has probably got to be one of the best places to live in the summer, just because the weather really is great here. We don't get a lot of rain in the summer. It's already just a beautiful state, you know, with all the green we have here and the mountains that we have here, Mount Rainier. So I mean, the state is beautiful all year round, but in the summer, it's, you know, if you look at places like Nevada or Arizona or places in the Southwest, or even in the East, they just get so hot in the summer that it's just, you know, anything over like 90 degrees, and even 90 to me is like pretty damn hot. But I can go, okay. 90 to me is pretty hot, but there's places that, you know, that's like what it is at 6 a.m. You know, it's 92 degrees at 6 a.m. in Las Vegas or in Phoenix, Arizona. So I mean, that makes it almost unbearable. So now, instead of having, like, we have bad winters here that I don't like, but if I live there, I'd be like, man, this is just too hot. Like, I don't even want to go outside. Now most of those places do have air conditioning. We in Seattle, it's not common to have air conditioning here at all. Like, I think a very small percentage of people have air conditioning. It doesn't come standard with, you know, where you live. And it just makes sense. You know, there's probably only less than a month out of the year where you would ever possibly need it, and it's typically only like 10 days where the weather is really hot. Places like Las Vegas, you know, they can go from May until like early October, and it can be over 100 degrees any of those days. I've been there in April, and it was, you know, coming from here, it felt really hot. I think it was in the mid to high 80s, you know, during the hottest time of the day, and that felt incredibly hot to me. But of course, I was coming from a full winter in Seattle, where the weather was, you know, typically not higher than about 55 every day. So but you know, a lot of people just end up, you just end up living wherever you're born. The statistic on that is really crazy. It's like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something like 80% of people, I don't quote me on that, I don't know, but it was something crazy. It was like between 60 and 80% of people end up living like within